Thanks for downloading Pave the Way Podcast. On this show, your host, Greg Helbeck, interviews the top minds in real estate, business, and personal development to help you crack the code so you can grow your business and, more importantly, grow your life. Get ready for another game-changing episode. If you want to learn how to master your day and become a productivity monster, download Greg's free guide on daily personal productivity for free at www.pavetheday.com. That's Pave the Day, spelled DAY.com. Now it's time for today's episode. Enjoy.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I got Dave Brown on the podcast again. I think this is your third time on.
Yeah, I come up with as Barb Allen. Look at that.
Yeah, well, Dave Brown, aka Barb Allen, aka Dave Brown. I think this is your third time on, so I'm really excited to talk about what you have going on now, because you have got a great event coming up in January. Is it the 7th and the 8th, Dave? Is that correct?
7th and 8th. Yeah, 7th and 8th of January 2022.
My buddy Devin's going to be there. A lot of great speakers are going to be there. We're going to get into that in the show today. And I'm really excited to see what you and Barb have put together over the last, how long have you been working on this event for, man? You've been planning this for a while, I know.
2.5 years now. Yeah.
That is amazing. And I'm looking forward to it. So point of today's show is to learn a little bit about American Snippets, what you guys are doing, what your mission and purpose is, and then talk about this event and how it's going to be a kick-ass event to start off the new year. So give everyone a little bit of background on who you are and your business background, and then how you kind of got into the great company you have now, American Snippets.
Yeah. So, as you know, Greg, and I've been on the show a couple of times too, I'm a fellow, investor like yourself, wholesaler, house flipper, right? Been doing this for better part of 20 years. Got started by being a real estate agent, and then I kind of gravitated the last 10 years. Last 10 years, I've been doing full-time wholesaling and real estate investing and house flipping and rehabbing and things like that. So that's my bread and butter. That's my business. That's my career. Greg and I have done numerous deals together. I've worked with Kent Clothier, who's a mentor and coach of mine. I've coached over 120 students for him over a 3-year period. He's actually speaking at our summit, the Great American Summit, which I'm super excited about. And then once I met my fiance and partner here, Barbara Allen, who's a Gold Star wife, and those of you who don't know what a Gold Star is, it's a family member, a family who's lost someone in service. And so Barbara's husband was actually murdered by another soldier in Iraq about 15 years ago. And we met almost 7 years ago now. We're engaged, and we decided to start this news, podcast, content-based platform that's very patriotic and positive, which an entrepreneurial mindset kind of aspect to it, called American Snippets. We publish content on a daily basis. We have a podcast called American Snippets that's on iTunes and Spotify and everywhere else you can find it. And then we recently started doing a community called the Great American Syndicate, where we have apparel like this. And then we're kind of using our event as this catalyst to bring more attention not only to our brand and the syndicate, but to things that really matter and can make a difference, we think, in our country. And that's really focusing on investing in and building up yourself, your family, your community, and in turn, helping, the country progress and maybe, get united again.
I love that. And you made such a good point, getting everyone united again, because that's the name of our country, not the divided states of America.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
sad to see. Yeah, it's sad to see what's been going on over the last 2.5 years, really, with all the crap going on and, the agendas and people dividing the country and making things politicized. It's a shame. And I love what you guys stand for and how you guys are helping try to bring everyone back united together. So Dave, question for you. I've listened to your podcast a lot. You have some amazing guests on there. You and Barb, you do a great job putting that content out. How the hell do you get some of these kick-ass guests on there? Because I see sometimes the people you get on there and I'm like, oh my God, how did he get that person on? So what is your secret to to getting these high profile people on your podcast. It's just, I'm serious, dude. Like, you're a good friend of mine. I'm super impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a secret. I mean, when you approach the right people, I think with the right sincerity level and come from a different perspective that or topic maybe that they're not used to. Like, so it's a little different change of pace for a lot of people when we come to them and say, hey, would you like to be on our conservative leaning patriotic podcast? Because it's not what so if we're approaching someone like Kent, right? Kent's always getting talked all the time to come on podcasts to talk about real estate investing or entrepreneurship, right? We come from a different level. Like, come on our show, talk about those things, but talk about why those things matter. Like, talk about the American dream aspect of it. And so when we approach our guests in that lane, especially with Barb being Gold Star wife, and we share some of that story. And, they want to be a part of it. They want to share their story on how they, came up through the ranks and had success. Especially when someone's like an entrepreneur who like fled communism or, came from another country to live the American dream. And then they built these huge national brands, international brands even. They want to share their story on how they did it and why they did it and why they came here. And that's kind of what we want to spotlight with our podcast and our event, is to really showcase, the best of America. Like, it's a celebration of everything that makes America great. And we want anyone who wants to share their story to come on the show and teach our audience, remind people of our freedoms that we have here. Because I think a lot of people take what we have here for granted, take our freedoms for granted, take the opportunities that exist for granted. And they need to be like woke up and shaken up and reminded, like, look, man, we live in the greatest country in the world with more opportunity here than has ever existed
anywhere
before.
else.
Like, it's time,
I love it. No, it's true, man. You and Barbara have had some very impressive people on there, from Patrick Bet-David, who's a 9-figure guy, to Brad Lee. You've had Robert O'Neill on the show, I believe. You've had some very, very inspiring, impressive guests. And it goes back to the point where, someone like, for example, Patrick Bet-David, he came here from Iran, flew a terrible situation, and he's came to this country and he's worked his butt off. He's built an absolute empire. And it's amazing to see stories like that. You guys can demonstrate on your podcast to where, people can go actually come to this country and live that American dream. It's not easy, but it's possible.
Crazy stories. And Bedros Keuilian is speaking.
Oh yeah, that was another. I love that episode.
At the event, right? He has Fit Body Boot Camp. He has multiple like mastermind programs, and to train men how to be men and things like this. And Fit Body Boot Camp is a national franchise chain, like international chain. Yeah, huge. He's been on Fox News, all the different things. But his story is, he came from communist Armenia. Like, he fled the country when he was a young boy. He was eating out of dumpsters in this country to survive. And then you see what he's built along the way. And so, it's like, if someone can have the perspective to teach people like you and I, or other people who live in this country who might be taking those freedoms and opportunities for granted, or who are, over the last couple of years, we've seen people really, shitting on America, burning down statues, like complaining this, making racism about everything, saying America's not that great. You talk to someone like Bedros and you listen to his story on why he came here, he'll tell you firsthand, he's been all over the world. There's no place like the United States of America, and he's very outspoken and vocal about, what we're seeing in our country right now. It's not really about left versus right. It's not about politics, but it is a battle of ideologies. And that ideology is, personal responsibility, freedom, resetting, our core values as a nation. Look, our founding fathers were brilliant. They had that foresight. They knew, I don't know, I'm dumbfounded sometimes about, the document that they put together. And if you read the document in terms of like the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and all the core values, equality and all those things, like, those things are all true based on their words. Like, we have a checkered past, but we always improve and get better as a society. And that's what we want to bring to our event. That's what we bring to our podcast. And that's kind of like our mission and purpose and what we're doing.
I love it, man. You got such a great thing going on, and you guys are fighting for such a great cause and spreading the positivity across the world. Most obviously the United States, but the world, with the podcast. Yeah. So I want to spend some time talking about your event, and what people can expect if they want to decide to attend it, because this has been in the works for a while now. It's going to be January 7th and 8th in Irving, Texas, which is basically Dallas. And it's actually right by the airport. Super
9 miles.
Location. Yeah. Oh man, I saw that. I was like, yeah, this is awesome, right by the airport. So tell everyone a little bit about, what the event is going to be about, who's going to be there, and what people can expect if they do decide to attend.
Right. So it is a patriotic event. It's called the Great American Summit, right? But we can't have a summit called the Great American Summit without great Americans. And so the summit is all about strengthening yourself, your family, your community, and country. So it's that entrepreneurial mindset, personal development type of event with a patriotic spin on it, celebrating all the things that make America great. And the biggest thing about the event is all net proceeds from the event are going to charities that support our veteran and first responder communities, as well as at-risk youth and their families. We're recognizing one organization called the Wounded Blue that helps our law enforcement officers. Another organization is very much involved in sex trafficking and trafficking of other kids right now. So we're going to be giving back to them. So that's the big thing about this. It's not just, part of strengthening yourself, your family, your community, country. Part of that is also, giving back and making an impact and helping, organizations like this who are making a difference. So as much as this is about, a patriotic event and entrepreneurial type event, the biggest focus of this is being able, as a unit, as a collective together, to give back and make an impact to a lot of worthy causes.
I love that. That's one of the mottos of a mastermind I'm a part of called the Multipliers. It's learn, earn, and then return, right? And you guys are all about three of them: learning, earning, and returning, because you're going to learn the skills. You're going to be able to earn the income when you learn those skills at this event, and then you can return that by paying it forward, just like you guys are doing at this event. So the event's January 7th and 8th. So that's a Friday and a Saturday. Now, you have been impressing me every single month with the guests that you're attracting to come to this event. So if you don't mind, and I wouldn't say it's bragging. You're just, what does Grant Cardone say? It ain't bragging if it's true. So you had some really cool guests that are scheduled to make an appearance here. So tell the audience a little bit about who is going to be in attendance speaking at this event.
Yeah, we have a crazy lineup, and first off, I want to thank you, Greg, for having me on your podcast. I know we run in some of the same circles, and you probably have a lot of people who listen to your show who maybe haven't, heard about this event, but would probably like to attend because of who's coming and what the purpose and mission of it is. So I would encourage you to, if you're interested, go to greatamericansummit.com. We have all kinds of ticket levels. It would be great to have you in attendance. We have a concert going on one night. We have a good friend of ours, Tom Morano, who's a speed painter. He does these mind-blowing painting performances that you absolutely have to see. So that's just like a tip of the iceberg. But we have Nick Vojcik. He was born without arms and legs. He has a following from all around the world. He's a world-renowned speaker, New York Times bestselling author, coach, entrepreneur, anti-bullying advocate. He's just an incredibly powerful speaker, millions of followers on social media. He's probably, I would consider, our big headliner.
It's amazing.
We have Steve Sims, who has a book called Blue Fishing that if you haven't read, you have to pick up. It's a great book. Best way to sum up Steve Sims is he's the real life Wizard of Oz. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
A lot of your people who are, audience who's listening, they probably definitely know who Brad Lee is. He's the founder of and CEO of Lightspeed VT, which is like he provides
online
a platform,
training,
online training for other businesses, so business to business. He's an author, leading authority on web-based training, sales expert, and he has a killer podcast called Dropping Bombs, which my partner and fiance Barbara Allen was on last month.
It's an amazing
story. So you can check out that interview too if you haven't heard it. We'd appreciate your support in that. Who else we got? Where'd it go? I think I lost the page.
You got some real estate people showing up. You got Kent Clothier is going to be there. You got a lot of great people who are going to be at this event, man.
Yeah, Kent's going to be there. Jason Redmond, who's a Navy SEAL, also a best-selling author, Purple Heart recipient, performance trainer and coach. Larry Broughton, Special Forces veteran. He's also a best-selling author, and he's a hotelier. So he started these boutique hotels out in California, and he's an expert in leadership and entrepreneurship. We have David Webb, who is a Fox News personality. He's host of the Reality Check. He's on Fox Nation and Sirius XM. Ryan Weaver is a country music artist. He's a former Black Hawk helicopter aviator. He was the voice of the PBR, the Professional Bull Riding Association. He's going to be performing the concert for us. Just an all-around amazing human being. Jaco Booyens is he fights human trafficking. We're giving back to one of his charities. International speaker, huge following online. Tony Watley, also another amazing individual. He has a book called Side Hustle Millionaire. So he's a best-selling author. He's a founder of 365 Driven. He has a podcast. Bobby Sausalito, someone you must follow on Instagram at Take Naps. Political commentator, hysterical, but brilliant. This guy is like, I could listen to him all day. Super smart, very sharp. He's going to be there. Good friend of ours. Ian Smith. I don't know if a lot of you may have heard of Ian probably over the last 2 years because he fought back against against the New Jersey governor closing down all the businesses at the beginning of COVID.
Oh, the guy who owned the gym, right?
He owns a gym. Yep, and he pushed back against that. So yeah, just a killer lineup. Martha Krejci, she has a huge online following. She's a woman in business, coach, growth strategist, social media influencer. She's a member of Forbes Business Council, so she's the real deal. Marie Cosgrove is a good friend of ours. She's a total badass. She was fired from her company because she was making basically too much money in monthly commissions. They wanted to stop her being on a commission basis, and they wanted to pay her a salary, which would have been like a 60% pay cut. So they fired her, and then she ended up buying the company that fired her.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
can't wait to hear her story. That's amazing, dude.
You know, Kent Bedros, we talked about. Crystal Tini has a huge following online on social media, Instagram. Ian Wendt, he's the founder of Patriot Gear. He's got a big following on social. He's blew up over the last couple of years. Eddie Pinero has over 200 million streams on YouTube. Real inspirational speaker, another bright guy. Eric Konolalov is a good friend of ours, another Russian refugee who's built an amazing life as an American immigrant. Stephen Miller, former MMA fighter, holds 5 world records in the strength and endurance category. Mike Fallett is a good friend of ours. He's helped people, just like anyone on this podcast, probably people who listen to your show, I'm sure as well. He's helped some of them probably get their best-selling books on Amazon. He's helped over 250 people with that. Anthony Russo is a co-host of our event from BeTheChange.org, and our MC is Pat Hilton. So yeah, we have a killer lineup. I know Tom Verano, who I mentioned before, the speed fighting artist, is going to be there. And then Officer Parker is a special guest of ours. He captured the country's attention when he was caught on video, basically running down a suspect at record speeds. Like it was like jaw dropping. And then he was on this show Ultra Tag, and his platform on social media has absolutely taken off. And he's a big advocate now for, law enforcement and, educating the public on, what these people face day in and day out, putting their lives on the line and things like that. So he's going to be there as well. And plus we'll have some special guests too. So if any of those names resonate with you, you recognize any of them, I mean, it'd be awesome for you to join myself and Greg and all of our guests at the event in Dallas, Texas.
Absolutely, man. That's going to be a freaking all killer, no filler event, man.
Yeah, that was a mouthful.
Yeah, man. Well, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, listen, man, I'm looking forward to being a guest there. So my question to you is, if people want to check this event out, obviously they know the date, they know who's going to be there, they know what it's going to be all about. What's the best way for them to get tickets if they were interested? What's the best? We can put that, I'll have my assistant put this in the show notes too, so everyone has a direct link to this.
Yeah, so the best way is go to greatamericansummit.com. get your ticket for the event. If you are a veteran or you are in law enforcement or a first responder, we have a block of tickets set aside for free for anyone who's a veteran, active duty military, law enforcement, first responder. So if you want to take advantage of one of those free tickets, you can also just email Barb at americansnippets.com, and we can set you up and get you on our list. But otherwise, just go to greatamericansummit.com and get a ticket.
That's amazing. You guys are doing that for veterans. It's very impressive to see what you guys have done over the last couple of years to put this event together.
Yeah.
And
so here's the thing, Greg. Let me ask you a question, because you've been to a lot of events, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A ton of them.
How many events have you been to where they play the national anthem before the event?
0.
Yeah. Why?
0.
You go to a sporting event, they do it, don't they?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know why, honestly. Maybe because they don't take it seriously. I don't know. I've been to dozens and dozens and dozens of events over the last 5 years.
So this is another thing that we're looking to do, that we want to create a change in, right? So anyone who's probably, a lot of your listeners have been to events,
seminars and
masterminds, events, right?
Yeah.
If you want to have that same kind of feel, energy, knowledge, training, but you want to experience it in a patriotic way with the national anthem. We're going to have the color guard come out. There's going to be veterans and police officers in the room. We have National Medal of Honor recipients in the room, Purple Heart recipients, real heroes. And so it's going to be something quite unique, probably that no one's really experienced who's listening. It's going to be something that I've never experienced before, combining those two elements. And I think it's really important because, that's what the American dream is all about, right? It's remembering the opportunities that we have here, but why we have them. Like freedom isn't free, right? People fought and died.
No, people have to pay the price
for
for
freedoms
freedom.
that we have. Yeah,
totally.
And
man.
so for us, at our event, we're going to recognize that. We're going to pay tribute to that.
I can't wait, man. You're going to make such a freaking big impact on starting out 2022. I love how it's like the first real weekend of January. Start off the year with momentum. You got some amazing guests that are going to be there. I love how you're doing the national anthem. I can't wait to, probably won't wear a hat either way, but have my hand across my chest.
There you go.
Participate in that. And I love the message you're spreading and all the positivity you and Barbara are putting out. And it is an honor to call both of you my very good friends. So we'll make sure we have everything in the show notes here. GreatAmericanSummit.com, correct?
That's it.
GreatAmericanSummit.com. That'll be there. If I'm telling listeners right now, Dave is a really good friend of mine. I've known him. He was actually my first real estate mentor. So definitely that phone call I made you paid off to the millions of dollars so far. So thanks for helping me out like 6 years ago and getting me started. So if it wasn't for Dave, honestly, you probably wouldn't be listening to this podcast because there's no way I wouldn't able to have the credibility to make a podcast. So Dave is the reason why I'm like kind of in this business. He helped me get started.
I'll tell you, Greg, though, too, I'm honored and grateful and proud too, because, there's those moments when, the teacher becomes the student, right? And so you've exceeded, well, actually, I'm not really surprised how far you've come. But it's happy for me to see, and it's an honor to be your friend, man. You're a great
Thanks,
dude.
buddy. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to being at your event. So to all the listeners out there, I encourage you to attend Dave's event, hang out with me, hang out with some of my other buddies, hang out with Dave. There's going to be some great people here. Going to be great networking alone, just the networking alone. I mean, the event's going to be fantastic, but the networking, hanging out after hours, it's going to be awesome. Texas is a great place to go. It's not too cold in January. So I encourage everyone, buy a ticket to this event. It's for a good cause. It's going to be a lot of fun. Dave, man, you guys got a great thing you have out there. What's the best way for people to check out your podcast if they want to plug into your world as well? What's the best, when they just go on iTunes or whatever?
Yeah, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, go to americansnippets.com. We publish a lot of content there as well. And then our biggest audience, I would say, is on our Facebook page. So facebook.com/American Snippets. We have some, we publish content daily and have some crazy engagement and a really robust and great fan base. So
that's awesome. We'll make sure we have all that in the show notes. Awesome.
Cool,
Dave,
man. Appreciate it.
It's been an honor having you on the show here. We'll make sure this goes out right away. So this hits before the event. We'll have this go out actually next week. So no, we'll just go out on Tuesday or Wednesday. So it'll get published right away.
I appreciate the opportunity to be on your platform and share the event details with your audience, man. I'm very grateful.
My pleasure, buddy. Well, hope you have a great day, and we'll see you at the event.
Sweet.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Pave the Way Podcast. We hope you got value from today's episode. Make sure you download Greg's free guide on daily personal productivity for free at www.pavetheday.com. That's Pave the Day spelled DAY.com. If you have any questions or want to reach out, head over to www.pavethewaypodcast.com. We'll see you on the next episode.